everybody, I'm Diane and this is my channel Frog and Fudge, where I share my hobbies. Today is cross stitch. We've had Christmas and New Year since my last video. I hope you had a lovely time as far as you could with the restrictions that applied. We here in the Netherlands had a second Christmas and New Year in lockdown. Things are beginning to open up now, thank goodness, and we're looking towards, I think, a new normal. And if things can be open and all you have to do is wear a mask, try and keep a distance, or show that you've had a vaccination, that you've got your vaccination certificate, I'm fine with that, as long as things open up again and I can get rid of my lockdown hair. Yeah, call this episode Snowballing. You know what a snowball is. It starts off cute and white and fluffy, and then you roll it down the hillside and it gathers speed and momentum and size and a life of its own. A bit more of that later. It's a good analogy for my stitching, but a bit more later. First up, this. I showed this last time. I purchased several patterns in one lot. This was amongst them, and I know I won't stitch it, and I asked if anybody else would like it. There were two people who would like it, so bear with me. I get my random. Oh, I'm not a technical person. Okay, we have a mouse. There we go. Click, and it's on Stitching by the River, I think. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your first name. So, Stitching by the River, please get in touch with me, Instagram or email. Told you, I'm not really good at technical stuff. And I'll get that posted out to you, and you can stitch a cute little mouse in a watering can. Now, stitching. My normal stitching, I usually have 3 whips on the go that I regularly show. The first is Mirabilia Sleeping Princess. Didn't stitch on that. And the second I want to show is my St. George. That's my Leap Day sale. Started on the 29th of February. And this was actually pulled for Whip Go. 2 and 19 were pulled on Whip Go. And this was number 2 for me. And the goal is to get to 75% by the end of the year. So I've stitched some more white in here. Can't really see, but it's there. And Elisa, E-Stitching in Colorado, has stitched a couple of Thea Gouverneur kits. This is a Thea Gouverneur kit, sorry, on Ada. And she came short. Both times she didn't have enough floss. I've never had that problem, but actually I did with this. I only had 2 strands of white floss. I don't know where the rest was, and I don't know if I took it out and used it on another project or put it somewhere for safekeeping. But I pulled white out my stash and merrily stitched away, and then realised I picked out the wrong white. I picked out B something or other, and I think this was blank. So if you look, can you see there the different whites? Sorry, I keep doing that because I've got multifocal glasses. Yeah, I don't think it's bad enough to make a difference. I don't think it's going to matter. I'm not going to frog it. So, oh, and that's what he'll look like when I get him finished. Then, third whip that I usually stitch on, or show rather, is Night by Maria van Scharrenberg. This was a kit issued by Leonid. Kit's no longer available through normal retail, but you can sometimes get it second hand. I'm stitching Night. If you do want to stitch on this, the charts, both charts, Night and Day, have been published together by Artisy, and you can get that through Amazon. I'm over halfway. Which way? That way. I am over halfway. And I'm over because over here there's all moon that's been stitched, but you just can't see it if I hold it close. Can you see it? The only way you get an idea of where the moon is is because the gridding lines are a little bit vague. Well, it's coming on lovely. We have a stitch along on Sundays. As far as I'm concerned, you can make your own rules. You don't have to stitch on a Sunday. And I'm stitching together with Alice, Debbie, Jemima and Stephanie. So if you have the kit or you have the chart and want to join us, Marie, Chantal, that would be really lovely. And then the Snowball. This is where the Snowball was just small. A little start between, oh, where is it? Christmas and New Year, a week 52 start. I've shown this before. The original chart was designed by a lady called Anna, and she published it in the community for free. You could have the chart for free. This version, I think, has been tweaked. There's a couple of little differences. A Dutch designer did that, and unfortunately she didn't credit Anna, which doesn't look good for her. Anyway, I bought it as a kit, so I don't know if I actually paid for the design work. I paid for floss and fabric. Fabric I've since lost, and that was the floss I had. This is hand-dyed silk by Joke Trebedenijs. Beautiful stuff. Sometime I think I'd like to visit her shop. Yeah. Do you see? Snowball's beginning to grow. I want to visit a shop that sells silk. Anyway, I'm stitching it with this silk. This was gifted me by Carol Webster. That's pretty close, I think. A little less red. A little less. It's a bit more pinky. Beautiful silk. Feels lovely. And I'm stitching it on this gorgeous fabric, which was gifted me by Debbie from Creatively Yours. That's going to look amazing when it's finished. And just look at that fabric. Look at the nuances in that fabric. Isn't that amazing? And it feels so nice. I stitch in hand, and it's important that the fabric feels nice. I want to pick it up. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. And the silks, that's a bit different stitching with silk, because this is really shiny, almost slippery silk. And I have sometimes quite dry hands, and I'm noticing it catches easier than cotton does. But also I'm noticing it slips. I sew my tails of my threads in at the back of my work. And I'm noticing I have to sew this through a few more stitches, because otherwise it just slips out. It feels lovely. I'm enjoying that. And then the Snowball rolled a little further. Just a little. This is Tracy Horton design, ink circles. Was it Reflections on a Grecian Urn? And if you look, you've got cats and lobsters and octopuses. It's really pretty. And I asked last year in my Flosstube about colours I should use. I wasn't sure. One of the suggestions, silver on purple, I thought was absolutely adorable. But in the end, I chose Crazy Fabric. Ta-da! Yeah. I dyed this fabric myself last summer. I used one of those large egg boxes, and I scrunched it into each little cup of the egg box, and then I just used a teaspoon and dotted the dyes around and kept going till I got this. And I was going to use it for a mermaid, because I thought the white shining through looks like sunlight shining through water if you're underwater looking up. But it's 14 count Ada, and I thought if I did a mermaid on 14 count, her features would end up being coarse, and if it's a Mirabilia mermaid, the beads wouldn't fit, so I didn't. I've done this, and I thought I'll just do a monochrome blue. This is 797, DMC 797. I thought first a darker blue, and then my daughter said, no, pick this one. And she's right. it's different enough, but in the same, it kind of goes with it. I'm really having fun with that. That was my New Year's start. And then I lost control of the Snowball. I've been watching Flosstube for years. I've been watching other people stitch HAEDs and getting the idea that would be kind of fun. And I found a HAED full coverage that I'd like to do, and nah, too big, not going to do, never going to do that. And I keep watching Jemima, the Rocking Stitcher, and Debbie, Creatively Yours, and they just make it look so easy. Yeah, so doable. So, yeah, purchased one. If you do check out, yeah, you should check out Jemima, the Rocking Stitcher. She's recently done a whip parade where she shows all her HAEDs. A lot of eye candy there. But it's also lovely listening to her and her attitude, her real enthusiastic, inspired attitude towards loads of full coverage. Yeah, it enabled me, because I suddenly felt I can do that too. And I'll show you if I can work the tablet. Not that great with it. There we go. This is what I bought. This is Amsterdam Sunday Night by Leonid Afremov. Beautiful. Snowballed in end there though. There were two versions, and one had 86 colours, and I thought 86 perfectly doable. That's about the size of a Thea Gouverneur kit. But Debbie from Creatively Yours always says, check the mock-up. Check the mock-up before you buy, before you start. And with 86 colours, and you look closely, it looks like patches of colour that don't blend into each other very well. And one of the windows seemed to look white with a sort of staggered grey line through it. No. I'm going to do 375,000 odd stitches. I can't believe I've chosen it. It's got to look good. And the other one has 238 colours. Yeah. Next bit of the Snowball. I priced up 238 colours. Yeah, that's quite a figure. And I thought, I wonder what a whole 500 would cost. Well, if you buy the whole 500, you can get €100 off. And a box with it. Yeah, I bought the DMC box of floss. That's why I have my shelves here with my pictures on, because I had to change my room around and have the DMC box nicely against the back wall when no one's going to knock it or kick it when they will come in the room. So, having said I'd never do a HAED, I've got a HAED. It's a big one with a lot of colours, and I have the DMC box of floss. Alright, let's see what I've done so far. I've decided to stitch it on 20 count Ada, and I started, there we go, that's all I've got, and that's the top right corner. Loads of mistakes. Do you see that sort of cyan blue in there? That was meant to be electric blue. I stitched it with 996 instead of 995. Never mind, not going back. And I started with 2 strands over 1. I think Jantina from Jantina Stitches does 2 strands over 1. But I could see a lot of canvas shining through. And Elisa, E-Stitching in Colorado, does full coverages, and I think she stitches with 3 strands over 20 count. She has a good experience with that, so I thought, well, I'll go back, do another stitch over all of them and turn it into 3 strands. So that was the first hiccup in the start. And holding this much fabric, yeah, it's a lot. It's just unrolled. It's really difficult when you stitch in hand. And I tried rolling it diagonally and stitching didn't work. I tried rolling it horizontally, no, vertically, and stitching like I normally do, because normally I stitch down and up. Didn't work very well. So by the second day of stitching, I'm ready to give up. And I thought, no, keep going. Jemima rolls it up from the bottom. How does she do that? So I tried that, and instead of stitching up and down, I stitched left and right. Works perfectly. I'm also using Pattern Keeper for the first time. What a joy that is. There's no concentration in trying to find the next stitch. It's just highlighted for you, easy. And then you come around to how you're gonna, oh, I'll roll that up later. Oh, it's like a blanket. How to look after the floss. Stephanie, EnPointe Stitcher, a couple of videos ago showed how she does her floss. Perfect. She has proper floss away bags, I think. I managed to get these bags. They're little Ziploc bags on bol.com. And then she puts 2 holes in them and uses 2 rings to keep them all together. I've got all of mine squashed on 2 rings, and I think I'm going to have to split it and put a second ring or use a larger ring. Anyway, there's a bag now for each of the colours, and I printed out stickers. I printed out a sticker sheet and then cut with all the numbers on, and a card sheet with all the numbers on, and then went about cutting them up. So each bag has a sticker, and I'm not completely finished yet, and a card with a number in, because I noticed the stickers might come off. Yeah, I miscalculated on how long this HAED is going to take me. I thought 2 years, more like 7. So I don't know how long those stickers would hold. And I haven't, as you can see, I haven't pulled all the flosses out. I'm just pulling a few as I go from my DMC box. I was quite surprised when I bought the DMC box. I suggested it to my husband, and he didn't ask even how much it cost. His only question was, will you continue to use DMC, or are you going to change to some other brand? Yeah, I'll stick with DMC, no problem there. He said, then get it. And I was really surprised. My whole family is like, yeah, it's a lot of money. You deserve it, Mum. Get it. So I've got it. It's one heck of a snowball by the time it's finished. At least I hope it's finished rolling. That's it for now. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you've subscribed. Thank you for your comments. I love reading comments. Thank you for your thumbs ups. If you've got any suggestions for me, love to hear them. Yeah, take care and happy stitching, and I'll see you in my next video, hopefully. Bye bye.